Hi, Jay Smith from Model Aviation Magazine and Park Pilot Magazine. I'm here at the Horizon Indoor. I'm currently standing here with Mark Freeland at Retro RC, and he's going to show us some neat new building tools and jigs that'll help you out if you like to build. Hi, Mark.
Good morning, Jay. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm really excited to see what you have here because, you know, we just did the building issue in October, and it was hugely popular, and I think that these tools would help our builders.
Well, I was in a bind myself for building a couple of models that I just didn't have the right tools to set them up, and I thought, well, why not build some fixtures and jigs? They came out so well that I decided I better market them, let other people take advantage of what I've come up with. Anyway, I'll explain to you what I have if you'd like.
Yes, please, take us through.
I've got a piece of tin plate, which you can get in any hardware store, because all of the fixtures are designed to take magnets. Most of them take 2 magnets. We'll start with these little guys, which are 1-inch tall rib supports that you use to hold your ribs vertical whenever you're building your wing. There's 1-inch tall ones, 2-inch tall ones, 1/16, 3/32, and 1/8 slot widths, and they come in pairs. Next, we have a tall square that's just over 5 inches tall that helps you line up fuselage sides whenever you're pushing like the front in or whatever. A set of keel supports for building a model like Sinbad, where the fuselage is built on a central keel or a spine. This will support the center spine, and the hole below the slot is to align all of the fixtures that you're using up on a central carbon rod, is used here in this fixture. Then these are a pair of wing supports that will support 2 carbon rods. One of them you can move in and out at an angle if you're building a tapered wing. The next item here is a tiny little square that rides on one of the carbon rods that you can push up against a rib to square off the first rib or the root rib, so that you end up with a rib that's perpendicular to your trailing edge and your spars. Then we get to setting up the dihedral rib. I have a series of dihedral jigs like this. They come in a set and 1 degree steps from 0 through 15 degrees. And the advantage of this over the conventional system is you have 2 surfaces that are sitting at the right angle that you can use to not only set the angle of the rib, but the twist of the rib as well. And again, 2 magnets to hold these down to your building table. Then we get on to building a fuselage or building something flat on a flat surface. First thing you sometimes want to do is square something up. So we have a series of inside and outside squares that have a corner relief so you don't stick your part to the square. There's a 45 degree and there's also a 30 degree, 30-60 degree square. They come in pairs, so you get 2 inside and 2 outside in the kit. And then if you look at this setup we have here, a series of basically vertical parallel fingers that come in sizes from 1/8 of an inch apart to 2 inches apart. They're all the same height, 2 inches, and they all have this center hole that you can put on a 7.5mm carbon rod. You now have a fixture that automatically will line up your fuselage sides. You don't have to worry about sliding a jig in from either side and matching it up to your plan to make sure that your fuselage ends up straight. That's the jig that I'm using to build this fuselage. And here's an example of a fuselage that came out of this jig last night, and if you have a look at it you'll find it's nice and true, which is usually a fairly difficult thing to do, particularly whenever you're using flimsy components like this that are only like 16th inch wood rather than something heavier like 1/8. Whenever it comes to setting up your tail components, making sure that your tail is perpendicular to the center line of your fuselage. So I now have a nice perpendicular reference line that I can use to align the tail up to. And I can slide it in and out to get to exactly the right position, and then use a pair of my squares. The other thing is, if you want to level something like this, we have these guys that come in a pair that adjust vertically from 1 inches to 7 inches off the deck, and then you can change the angle over a range of plus and minus 7.5 degrees. So it's useful for setting up wings, you put one on either side, or for setting up your tailplane. Excuse me while I make some space so you can see what's going on. you're building a nice little fragile structure like this, and you need somebody to hold it down while the glue.
Right, you never have enough fingers.
So you get Bill, your buddy Bill, and I named these after my buddy Bill, who's turned me on to using magnetic fixtures. So these are Bill's fingers. I usually get him to hold things for me. They've got enough spring in them to hold the part firmly down, but not damage the delicate wood. And they come in a pack of 4.
Very ingenious.
Thank you, Jay.
Well, it's obvious that you've really thought through it. I mean, being a builder yourself, you've thought through what things that you would need, and we can see that you've built a very true fuselage. So, I mean, I think this is excellent. You're for sale here at the show, so people can go on your website now and order them?
Absolutely. They were put up on the website this past week. All of these are available at the show. There's a couple of them I'm going to run out of, I know that, but I have the laser at home. We'll make some more next week.
All right, great. Well, thanks for the time to show us this, Mark.
Thank you, Jay. I really appreciate you stopping by.